You guys know where the Suns just picked up a win? In New York! Psychos and sickos unite for an Oso got hit in the Iguodara's edition of the PHNX Suns post-game show. Of course, brought to you by our friends over at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHNX365. Deposit 10. Place a bet for 5. Get $200 in bonus bets. The Phoenix Suns 2-game skid is over. They pick up their second win over the Knicks in just 8 days. 106-99. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. I'm Eric. That's Gil. We got Espo, Steven, and the freckled Mamba behind the Mac and making all of the magic happen. The Phoenix Suns picked up a win. Let's go.
Nose, nuts, and the Knicks all getting destroyed tonight in New York City.
Jeez, it was a really physical game.
It really was.
Get physical, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, 5-star reviews. Thank you to everybody who tuned in for our watch along, for our pregame show. We've got a whole lot to get into today, but the Phoenix Suns back in the winning column. 2-game losing streak is over. Steven, what is the big takeaway? What's the one big thing from the Suns picking up their second win over the Knicks in just over a week?
I think the biggest thing for me is the defense. It continues to be that when they're in alignment with what their strong side of basketball is, what their identity stamping side of the ball is, they typically go and get wins, even in situations where it might not always be to their advantage. Obviously, tonight they had their best player and the Knicks did not, but the game was not easy to navigate in any capacity. But notice what it was that got them going whenever they were able to play the game on their terms. It was the defense. Deflection here, switch here, box out there to end the possession. It's not just enough to get up a good contest. You have to go pursue the basketball. And they did a good job of that in the most meaningful moments of the game. Multiple kind of double-digit runs to close quarters yet again for them as well. It's not surprising that the defense is at the helm of it.
Well, I love that this game got extremely physical and it didn't rattle them.
Yeah.
There were things that weren't necessarily called in their favor. It didn't rattle them. We've talked about how this team supposedly learns lessons each time they lose a game. Well, the last 2 games, close losses, I think they learned some of those lessons that they implemented tonight. Wasn't the prettiest game, wasn't the most efficient game, wasn't the best game they've played, but they found a way to win down that stretch, even when things weren't getting called in necessarily their way.
That's exactly what I was going to say. This team finds ways to win, right? Like we're in an interesting spot in the third quarter. Knicks going to 18-2 run to go up 10 points, and we were sitting here thinking, are the Suns really going to squander this opportunity to take advantage of a Knicks team that's struggling and is without 2 key players? One of them is their best player. And what the Suns do? 13-0 run to close that third quarter, and that really just swung the momentum completely back into their favor. And honestly, after I was a little concerned facing that 10-point deficit in the third quarter, I didn't really have many more concerns in the fourth quarter. Obviously, they had to make plays, but I was confident in their ability to do so. They did so. They got the first one of the trip, and they're back on track.
They're tough.
Yeah.
This is a tough team. They take punches literally and metaphorically, and they bounce back. 19 points in the first quarter for the Suns, missing open shots, things not going great. The Knicks nearly score 30, and then boom, you immediately start out with a 9-0 run at the beginning of the second quarter. You score 36, which is the highest scoring quarter by 7 points that anybody had tonight. And you do that again on the road after 2 straight losses. And look, Devin Booker was not fully healthy tonight. He played a good game scoring-wise, but not the most efficient game. You still had no Jalen Green, who didn't play, and you were tanking your lumps throughout the entire game. This was literally. This was also a Knicks team, and I said this in pregame, and I talked to Andrew Claudio over at Knicks Film School, they're so desperate for a win. Like, they are unraveling right now. It might not be the biggest deal, big picture, but when you look at right now, this is a Knicks team that is getting back home, has lost a bunch of games. The vibes are not great. No Brunson, right? No heart. A team that has to scrap and fight and throw everything against the wall to beat the Suns. And they tried it all, and the Suns still found a way to withstand and pull out a win. They're 24-17 now. Just a
25-17.
ESPN needs to update on me. There we go. 25-17 now. Just an all-around embodiment of who this team has become this season. And I know we almost say it after every win, but it feels like almost every single win is a blue-collar win for this squad.
It's because it's a blue-collar team. Again, alignment with your identity. You can go and win games off of that at times, but when you stay there and you operate in that space, that's where all of the benefits for you to reap on your investment kind of return to you there. Get out of whack a little bit in the game. You stop doing the things that help you control the margins, boxing out, stop containing the basketball, spend a lot of time in rotation. All of a sudden, the Knicks look like they're going to potentially steal one from you. As soon as Jordan calls that early timeout, and they come back with the lineup that they did and make some of the changes, which the big change was simply do your job better. It wasn't schematic. All of a sudden, the game flips around, and now the game's being played on the Suns' terms. So kind of rinse and repeat over the course of the game, but the Suns had it where they needed it in the most meaningful moments.
Eric, one word that you used was desperation. And this is a Knicks team that came in having lost 2 in a row. The Suns came in having lost 2 in a row as well. But looking at it, the Knicks have lost 8 of their last 10. So they're playing at a higher level of desperation. But the Suns knew that. And the Suns had a certain level of desperation as well. Yep. Because when things start going against you and you are trailing by 10 on the road against a shorthanded team and you've already lost 2 in a row, it starts to get a little heavy on you. And you're like, man, if we don't figure something out right now, we are going to be facing a 3-game losing streak and we'll have lost half of our games on this trip already, which is desperation mode. So for them to be able to respond the way that they did shows a level of desperation, the ability to dig deep. You hear that so much about teams and their ability to dig deep. When teams can do that, that's when you have confidence in them winning in high leverage situations, regardless of who's suiting up, because as we'll talk about, even though the Knicks didn't have all their guys, they had guys that stepped up, guys that presented unique challenges for the Suns, and the Suns stepped up to that challenge. You saw some desperation, and they got a much-needed win.
Do you realize that the Suns and Knicks have the same exact record right now?
Yeah. And one team is in second place right now.
And one team was a favorite to win their conference coming in. The other one was supposed to be the doormat of the entire NBA, and they have a chance to be back in 6th tonight, a half a game back of 5th, right, and gain a game potentially on that team that's in 4th as well.
They lost, by the way. Minnesota lost. Despite 55 from Anthony Edwards.
All right, so now you're
also he did come back.
He had 55 and they lost. So
Miami up on OKC. Now that matters.
Hey, that number 1 seed still in
number 1 seed still in play. This is also, and I get it. A lot of people will point at, oh well, the Knicks haven't been good recently, right? Okay, they're getting closer to 20 losses on the season. They didn't have Brunson, didn't have Hart. Coming into tonight, the Knicks had lost 4 games at Madison Square Garden. 4. That's their 5th loss tonight. This one to the Phoenix Suns. And Steven, we talk about it all the time. In an NBA season, it's really hard to beat the same team twice, even if those games are spread apart. Now, this isn't one of those like back-to-backs against the same teams like they had against the Pelicans after Christmas, but this is still a relatively quick turnaround to play this team again. It is tough to beat that same team twice, and they went out there and won a game that had some similarities, but was still a different setting and different players and personnel out there, and they went out there and got it done.
I mean, it's tough if you don't have an identity that you understand what buttons to press to play towards those qualities. This is a team that has that self-awareness. I think the non-negotiables are very clear. When we do these things, we can beat anybody on any given night. When we don't do these things, I'm imagining this is the messaging that Jordan is giving them. We see very mixed results, and we see some games that ultimately leave the slightest bit to be desired, i.e. the Miami game, i.e. the Detroit game, and you see yourself on the wrong side of games that you feel like you had a good chance of winning over the course of it. So, I mean, it comes down to that. The teams that really know how to press the buttons to get back where they need to be and then sustain there at the most meaningful moments are the ones that typically go and get the games, even if it is a rapid succession type of moment with the team you just beat recently.
Speaks to a well-coached team. That these guys are prepared, learn those lessons, go out there, and I mean, let's be honest. In a game the other night, that without Devin Booker against the best team in the East, probably shouldn't have been in. That speaks a hell of a lot to what Jordan Knott's doing. And I know we talk about it a lot. And we heard Tim Legler on yesterday's show say that Jordan Knott should be the coach of the year. But you almost have to talk about it when they continue to find different ways to win, and they've developed that identity so quickly this year.
And I think hand in hand with that, with what we've talked about, it's different guys stepping up, and guys, and it could be even within a game where guys don't necessarily have it right away, or it's not their moment just yet, but they're still ready. They're staying ready. Like Dillon Brooks, I asked towards the end of the game, I know he was dealing with an illness, didn't do shoot around on Thursday. I know, I know he's from Canada, but they're traveling to cold cities, and a guy who's been living here for the past several months, it's probably an adjustment to be battling whatever it is he's battling, also traveling and also dealing with cold weather. 2 of 13 in a game like this tonight, and the fact that he could not have his typical impact, there was somebody else that could step up for him. And knowing that, and again, the pressure to be there every night, that's really only the pressure that Devin Booker deals with. Even on a night where he's 7 for 18, he finds a way to get to 27 points. But that you can afford the guy who's been your second best offensive player this season to have an off night, which, he can't be on 82 nights out of the year. For other guys to step up, again, that speaks to everybody knowing their role, knowing when they're needed, and that's important for this team too.
Well, and I think that's perfect to get into our Dude of the Night, presented by Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. A lot of options, but we're going with a good one. Jordan Goodwin. Now, obviously, Jordan Goodwin. One more time. Obviously, Jordan Goodwin could have won Blue Collar Boy tonight, but we wanted to give him our Dude of the Night for a variety of reasons. In just 20 minutes off the bench, he scored 13 points, 5 of 6 from the field, 3 of 4 from deep, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, a plus 18 on the night. The way that he came into the game in that second quarter and basically helped turn this game on its head, and the Suns took momentum from there. Sure, the Knicks punched back, but from that moment on, the Suns were able to stay in this game and eventually win this game. He has continued to be one of the best stories in the NBA. The Lakers gave up on him. The Suns got him for free. His contract is just now getting guaranteed this month, and boom, he's out there being one of, if not the single most impactful player for the Suns against the number 2 seed in the East in a win. Jordan Goodwin is a dog, but he's also just a damn good basketball player.
Well, he had that one play, and forgive me, I think it was against Deuce McBride, where he poked that ball away, came down, got the layup. It was just a heads-up play. One of his 2 steals tonight, and he's a guy that we kind of gravitate back towards a lot because I think, to your point, he's helped define that culture very much like Brooks has this year. And the bench was so important tonight. They dominated the Knicks bench across the board. And really, for the first 3 quarters, they were the reason every time the Suns would get back and go on a run, it was the bench leading that way. And sure, the starters closed it out, but the bench and Goody in that second quarter was so huge.
You and Steven Espo were really prescient in that you said, man, is this going to be a game where you close with your second unit? Yeah. And then Steven says, well, you need Book out here to stabilize your lineup. And then who came back? It was Book and 4 reserve guys. And our dude of the night was the catalyst. When I talked about falling down by 10 points, it was Jordan Goodwin assisted that bank shot to also, I think Devin Booker set a really nifty back screen for him to set that up. Then it was Devin Booker, couple free throws, again, stabilizing the unit. Goody 3, Goody still in layup. Oh, wait, look, now you're only down by 3 points after that quick. And that was a big part of the stretch. So, beyond the numbers, which he was solid, he was efficient, he made his impact felt in that way, but just the timeliness of what he did and being ready for those moments and being trusted, as we talked about so much, to make the right plays in those times speaks to why he's the dude of the night.
Yeah, he has continued to be one of these big swing players for the Suns. You saw it in the win against OKC. You saw it, obviously, last game in a loss to Detroit. He grabbed 12 rebounds, was just a dog everywhere, played great defense against Cade Cunningham, continued to play great defense tonight. You talk about the bench, you know me, Mr. Plus Minus is what they call me. plus 19, plus 23, plus 15, plus 18 in a 7-point victory for Oso Ighodaro, Ryan Dunn, Grayson Allen, and Jordan Goodwin. Now, obviously, they match up against the Knicks reserves a lot of the times, and because of the injuries the Knicks are dealing with Brunson and with Josh Hart, they were a little bit shallower on the bench. They're not as deep of a team as the Suns in the first place, but that's still really impressive that they're able to take advantage of that. And when you have a bench that can go out there and that can kind of take charge at a moment's notice, and your stars are able to put up decent numbers or enough to get it done, you're going to win a lot of these games where and most of the time, Steven, when New York was hitting these punches and was going up 10, it's like, what are they going to do? Like, what are the Suns going to do? And somebody new found a way, and somebody new finds a way every night. It's just refreshing brand of basketball to see.
It is, and again, no different than the starting unit responding to Dillon Brooks when he has it. The second unit does with Jordan Goodwin. The point of attack defense is so important. Spent all last season talking about it because they just quite literally did not have it. And I think that is why last season, though it was hard to watch as a learning lesson, you see what it looks like to not have it so often that when you see it to the extent that this team has it, you see the difference in impact. Games that last season's team could have used even just one other guy outside of Ryan Dunn, they could provide it, would have probably changed the difference in that team winning 36 and actually making the playoffs last season. Whole nother conversation, but Jordan Goodwin being that much of a stabilizer for the second unit, a lot of times coaches call it time on task. You're given tasks from your coach at times, but also the game is demanding you with certain tasks. Jordan Goodwin comes in, they're not hitting threes, not guarding at the point of attack. The defensive activity is at a minimum. New York's not feeling them. All of those in one sweeping blow get addressed once he comes in and he straps the mask behind his head this time, doesn't leave it on the desk, and then he gets in and he just gets after it. That's a guy that just understands his role, and the fact that everybody responds to when he's playing to that extent says a lot about the ecosystem that they have established.
I know everybody wants to call him Batman because of the mask, but I think he deserves his own kind of superhero name. I think the intangible would be a good one because he brings
Mr. Intangible.
Mr. Intangible brings all that and goes out there and may not always show up in the stat sheet, but it always shows up on the court and in the final score for sure.
A group of players we talked about coming into the game were Miles McBride, who did have a very good game, but then him stepping up in that Brunson role, well, they needed Tyler Kolek to step up and do something else. And I watched him in hell being guarded by Jordan Goodwin. He was uncomfortable. And in once like those 2 or 3 possessions where he was uncomfortable defensively, and not to say that he checked out, but you knew then it wasn't going to be his game. He scored 2 points, had 3 turnovers. He had more turnovers than points in this game. And I think that's a big credit to Jordan Goodwin and winning that second unit battle, because if Tyler Kolek was playing better, and we talked about some things that have gone poorly for this team since winning the NBA Cup, he was a revelation for them during that time of the season, a revelation during the Christmas Day game that they had, and things have gone downhill for other reasons. But knowing that he is their catalyst, when your catalyst outplays theirs and then neutralizes theirs, you're in a good spot.
Yeah, I think that's the other big thing right there that you're bringing up with the catalyst point, because with Goody, like, look at what the impact that his just kind of presence on the court has for the team. It's almost like the modern version of a defensive anchor. It's not always coming from the center the way that it was in the mid-2000s and before then. It can come from anybody, and Goody's providing that just off of his presence, the communication, all of the little things that he does. I think that part is really important when you're talking about a team trying to do something that a lot of people said that they probably had a 2% chance, if that, of doing. And that's just outright making the playoffs, completely skipping the play-in and getting to the dance.
Yeah, I mean, Goody dominated NBA 2K6 Steve Nash out there. Go look up a photo of that. It's Tyler Kolek.
I think the other thing for me before we get done with Goody is on offense. Like, he's hitting shots, but he's not letting guys off the hook. Those Deuce is actually a good point of attack defender, but Kolek isn't the best defender. He plays with activity, and that's what allows for him to get into the lineup. He's not letting guys off the hook on the other end. Anytime he gets a touch, he's hitting them with the arm, getting the paint touch, putting pressure on them, making the help defenders around them make decisions. And I think that part matters as much as the impact that he provides on defense.
Well, and look, 3 of 4 from deep for Jordan Goodwin tonight, and that continues to be found money with the Suns. Hopefully he can continue to do that. But I think that his offensive additions, and stick with me here, kind of show me how much this team's going to benefit from getting Jalen Green back, because you see how much more dangerous everybody else in the court can be and how much better the Suns are at weathering a storm or coming back from being down when they have somebody else on the court besides Grayson Allen, besides Devin Booker, besides Royce O'Neal, besides Dillon Brooks, that can go get you a bucket, that can go get you a three. Jordan Goodwin is also passing the ball underratedly well this year too. Now, it's great that you can get that from him, but you can imagine you get it at a much more sustainable, higher level, especially self-created out of Jalen Green. Just another offensive option added into the mix. It has been very welcome from Jordan Goodwin, but when you get into high leverage situations like the playoffs, that's an added bonus. Jalen Green is the type of guy that can raise your floor tremendously just by doing that. I know they're not one-to-one comparisons, but you wouldn't expect to get this out of Jordan Goodwin, but you can expect to get it out of Jalen Green. Now, if he can keep it up when Jalen Green is back, again, dangerous.
I mean, if he's given a minute, he's going to do it.
Yeah.
I have zero lack of confidence in that for Goody. It just might come in a smaller dose until it's loud. And then he has to force Jordan not to make a decision in a game with, is he going to bring Colin or Grayson back in, or is he going to let Goody kind of rock out for a little bit longer?
Yeah. Look, we have a lot that we need to get into tonight. Congratulations to Jordan Goodwin.
How many player of the games?
Yeah, how many dudes of the night?
I think that's like 4 for him this season.
Is it? I know he gets a lot of blue-collar boys. Maybe 1 or 2 before.
See,
that.
we need to do better at this. We need to keep standings of.
I said this at the beginning of the year. I said it at the beginning of the season.
We got interns. We're
I
going to have
agree.
to go back and count every one of these from postgame.
Well, I know that there will be 1 more added to the blue-collar boy tally, and we'll get into that. Plus, we'll continue to talk about everybody and everything that's going on with the Phoenix Suns' 106-99 victory over the New York Knicks, sweeping them on the season, picking up a win in the Big Apple. And we'll be back right after our first break. Screw New York, it's a new year, and channel that fresh start energy and finally launch your business with Shopify. Shopify gives you everything you need to sell online and in person. Millions of entrepreneurs have already made this leap, from household names to first-time business owners just getting started, and of course, us here at PHNX as well. Setup is fast. Shopify has built-in tools to write product descriptions and headlines and help you edit product photos. Plus, marketing is built in to create email and social campaigns that reach customers wherever they scroll. And as you grow, Shopify grows with you. Handle more orders, expand to new markets, and do it all from the same dashboard. They give you all the tools that you can need to easily build your dream store, from hundreds of beautiful templates that you can customize to match your brand. So in 2026, stop waiting, start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/allcity. Go to shopify.com/allcity. Hey, that's shopify.com/allcity. Hear your first cha-ching in the new year with Shopify by your side. Cha-ching. All the sound effects.
No, that's not Steven's apartment complex. Yeah, that is Phoenix Raceway. Have you been to a NASCAR race yet?
You know, for somebody in North Carolina, I have not.
Well, that is a disappointment. You
Michael
should go.
Jordan is upset with
March 5th through the 8th. It is NASCAR and NTT IndyCar weekend out at Phoenix Raceway, the most beautiful venue in the Valley. I highly recommend you check it out. And no, NASCAR and NTT IndyCars aren't going to be on the track at the same time, but they will race on the same day. And I got to tell you, at Phoenix Raceway, they have the best access in all of motorsports. You go inside the garage, walk the track, meet the drivers, and catch the pre-race concert. Nobody gets closer in sports than you do in the Desert Diamond Casino infield experience. Plus, you get to see the Kyle Larson, the champion from last year, return to the track that he won it all on. NASCAR and NTT Series weekend in Phoenix, March 5th through the 8th. Secure your seats now at the link in our description.
We've got some business to handle before we continue to talk about the Suns handling business on the road, picking up their first road win of this East Coast road trip. Number 1, you got to hit that like button. Number 2, you got to hit that subscribe button. Number 3, if you're listening on audio, 5-star reviews. Number 4, welcome RWL 1976 to our members club, our MVP. Let's go ahead and get that chant.
MVP.
MVP. MVP. Big shout out to you. Get access to exclusive emojis, exclusive content, and everything of the sort, plus a prepaid super chat every single month that you are a member. And I believe we have one of those super chats now, I believe from Math to the Power of Joe.
Oh, yeah, that's our guy.
Celebrating 4 months of membership, says Suns got bloodied, but they Steve Nash their way to another gritty, aligned Buscemi victory. Suns are such a joy to watch.
I don't know if I have this as
a Buscemi?
As a Buscemi.
It was
I
more
don't know if I
weird
do.
than ugly. It was a really weird game.
That is a really weird. It was a really weird game. I don't know that it was necessarily really ugly. So, I can't give it a Buscemi.
I'm gonna go to the monitor and review it.
We should. Yeah. Well, we don't have that kind of time.
No,
we don't have that kind of time.
No,
so,
we do not.
But they did get bloodied. I'm still shocked that Oso Ighodaro took it in the mommy daddy box and somehow his nose bled
In the Iguodaros.
imagine
getting hit
how
that hard
happened.
in your Iguodaros that your Oso's bleeding. It's tough.
Pretty bad.
Look, he was definitely a contender for blue collar boy of the night, but we'll give it to somebody whose nose looked broken and checks back into the game. Let's go ahead and give it to Grayson Allen. Not the most efficient shooting night, but still put up 16 points on 4 of 14 shooting, 4 of 13 from deep. So he got all the work done from behind the line, 3 assists, 4 free throws, 1 broken nose, and 1 steal. Grayson Allen following up a great night against Detroit, still hitting some impactful shots tonight, Steven, but to be able to go back in there with a nose that looked crooked is maybe the epitome of blue collar.
Yeah, that's not ideal in any capacity. That's tough. But yeah, so is Grayson though. Again, that's another guy. Might not be the first name you think about when you talk about tough guys that are on this Suns roster, but a guy that wears those qualities as loudly as most other guys do. He gets hit a lot. Grayson gets whacked often. Sometimes he initiates contact. That's a tough dynamic of his game. He's just stubborn, man. He's stubborn, and unlike some of the other guys that went to that school that he went to, I would love to talk to him about that, he actually is tough, and he's shown it in multiple different moments just as a Suns player alone, even just this season exclusively. And again, this is something that everybody just picks up the baton off of, and the moment calls for them to step up for it, and they wear it well.
Basically, you already gave Jordan Goodwin the Mr. Intangible name. You might need to start thinking up a superhero name because we're probably going to have another masked man on this
Silver
team.
Sniper. Let's get him a silver mask.
Yeah. I like that.
It would ban that at half.
It would be done.
You already know.
But just thinking about what he's able to do, even thinking about there's something. This sounds crazy, but blue collar about going 4 of 13 from 3. The fact that he kept doing it and didn't care. It was
33 3-point attempts.
The last 2 games.
I'm surprised. He's got to be icing his shoulder after this game because he talked about it after the game, like how hard it is to shoot 23s in the game. Well, he came pretty close to shooting 13 off the bench in 27 minutes. So he took a 3 every other minute, basically, in this game and kept shooting because he missed his first couple in this game. And I think what it is the toughness and resilience and short memory of hey, I'm a shooter. I missed the first 3. I'm going to make the next one. It doesn't matter. So without that attitude, because, these guys are in the NBA for a reason, but if you stop, and I say this so often, the threat of taking that shot, the threat of making the 4th one or making the 6th one, defenses have to respect that, and that opens things up or keeps things open for everyone else. And we saw that from him as far as the shooting goes, but then the toughness was just shown all over the place. I think he had low-key had a similar version of the save out of bounds than he did from last week in a way lower leverage situation, but he did see that, and I noticed that again.
Well, yeah, he didn't stop playing defense when he checked back in without a mask with a crooked nose and his nose getting stuffed from all the blood that was coming out of it. I didn't think he was going to check back in. I thought he'd be in concussion protocol, to be completely honest with you. Obviously, if you missed the play, he smashed his face onto the back shoulder neck area of OG Anunoby diving for a loose ball, and then also got called for the foul, by the way. But quite the year historically for Grayson when it comes to shooting the 3, set the single game record for made 3s in a game against the New Orleans Pelicans earlier this year, and tonight moved in the top 10 in Suns franchise history for 3-pointers made. Big shout to Shane Young, who passed that along first. Past Cam Johnson with 435 made 3s in Phoenix. Grayson now in his 3rd year, 2.5 seasons deep, Espo, is solidifying a little niche for himself as, hey, this is one of the best shooters that we've seen in the purple and orange.
He's pushed Eddie Johnson to the 3rd best shooter to ever wear number 8 from deep. It's him, it's Channing, and it's
for the team.
It's EJ. Yeah, for the team.
So you think Grayson's the best 3-point shooter in Suns history?
Not in Suns history. Who's worn 8? Yeah, he's gonna be close depending on how long he hangs around for in being close to that top in terms of it. Especially he's cracked that that top 10 with a few games. What is 160 something we said that he's played? I think 167 maybe, and that's just impressive what he's been able to pull off in a short time with the franchise. And if you go look at those single game records, his name's all over it in the top 10 of that as well.
So 164 games for Grayson Allen. Just for some reference, Cam Johnson, who he passed, played 200 games. So Grayson now has 438 threes. Number 9 is a name that you saw tonight. No, it's not Landry Shamet. Mikal Bridges in 365 games had 525 made threes. So you're going to need about 90 more from Grayson Allen this season in order for him to move into 9. But once he gets there, he could move up to 8 and 7 pretty quickly. That's Jared Dudley at 8, Channing Frye at 7, Rajah Bell at 6.
Sean Merritt is sad.
Sean Merritt. Well, and I saw a tweet about this, ironically enough, earlier today. If you want a good laugh, look at all the franchise leaders in 3-pointers made, because a lot of the times it's skewed newer because so many more guys shoot 3. Like the Timberwolves, it's like Anthony Edwards and like Naz Reid are top 2 in 3-pointers made in their franchise history. But number 4, Leandro Barbosa. Number 3, Dan Marley. Number 2, Steve Nash. And number 1, by over 400 3-pointers made, it is Devin Booker, who passed Steve Nash in that quite a while ago and has made over 400 more in 30 less games than Steve Nash for the Suns. Book also passed Steve Nash on the all-time scoring list tonight in about 500 less games. He's, I don't know, somewhere in the
97th.
97th, so top 100 scorer in NBA history. And I think it's good to transition to Book's game, unless somebody had anything else to say about Grayson Allen, blue-collar boy.
I was going to say Grayson probably makes 100 more threes this year if he plays in 30 of the last 40 games. I could see that. So that was all I was going to say.
If he makes 100 more threes, that would put him at 538 threes, which would be ahead of Mikal Bridges at 9, and that would be 5 behind Jared Dudley at 543.
The fact that Jared Dudley is on the top 10
in 468 games played.
Shot and made a lot of threes.
I love Jared, but
yeah. Also, like Grayson total attempts in like 36 less games than Cam Johnson has only attempted 80 less threes. So I guess that's about right, like 3 a game-ish. But Grayson could, if he shoots really well, continues to stay hot from 3, could move into the top 8 all-time in Suns franchise history. Devin Booker tonight, not a great shooting percentage, like most people on the court. 7 of 18 from the field, 1 of 5 from deep. Did get to the line 14 times, knocked down 12 of them. So good for 27 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 turnovers, and a steal. Definitely not fully healthy for Devin Booker, who returned from a left ankle sprain and was a game-time decision tonight. Steven, I know a lot of the times when guys are out there limping on the court, you ask the question, well, why play him? Did you feel like it was a necessary move to play Book tonight? Like, because him limping out there had me a little worried.
I mean, if he was good to go, he was good to go.
But was he good to go is the question.
I mean, the injury report suggests so. So, I mean, just going off of the information that we have to glean from, I mean, it's gonna be moments when you come back from injury where you're trying to get back right. Jalen might have some moments where he gets some nicks and bruises, and people are gonna be on edge about, oh my goodness, here we go again. Is he okay? It's basketball. And the Suns are a physical team as well, so there's going to be some hits that comes with that. But I think generally it's about what I expected from him in his first game back after the ankle injury. You want to test the waters on it at times. There's going to be a little bit of rust, even if you didn't play for just, 2 or 3 days. No basketball for him for the most part in terms of a game. It's going to be like that sometimes. I think he still wore the double teams and the attention that he garnered well and flipped that into advantage for opportunities for other guys around him. So, I think I liked his disposition. He did solid defensively as well. He had some moments where in the gap showing good help and things like that. I think it was a good game.
Yeah, I know people look at the shooting percentage and be like, he was only 7 of 18. Oh, he struggled this year. I'm not going to make any judgments on his shooting percentage until we see Jalen Green with him. Because, again, he's had to carry so much of that load. Has to be the focal point. I think that plays a role in why his shooting has been what it has, but we saw him again tonight come up in big moments. In particular, how he ended the third on that N1 was a momentum changer for this team, and he continues to do those things. Plus, you talked about it in pregame. I talked about it last week on Southwest Bias, but he's, I believe, 5th in free throw attempts per game in the NBA this year at a little over 8. Like, that's a big part of what's going on with his game now too, and how he can be still getting 27 points in a game when he's shooting 7 of 18. Like I'm not going to judge the shooting percentage till Jalen's back, but he's still making a big impact.
It's just his presence more than anything else, and whether it's being a calming force or a stabilizing presence, so however you want to put a label on it, that is what your best player is. That is who Devin Booker is. That end of the quarter and one is a perfect example of that. That, like, throw everything out, throw the percentages out, throw the makes, the misses, the trips to the line. In that moment when you needed a momentum type play to continue the tides swaying in your favor, more often than not, you count on him being able to do that, and that's what we've seen from him. So thinking about that, thinking about the small things that he does that may or may not show up in the stat sheet, just being the everything guy for this team. And obviously, again, even the fact that we're saying, hey, this guy was hobbled and he still finished with 27 points. If he makes 1 or 2 more of those shots, he would have had a 30-point game. And it was a rough shooting out in which I'm sure that whatever discomfort he's dealing with and he's playing through and looked fine playing through it by and large, given the results, I'll take it.
I mean, he could have been a blue-collar boy tonight. I mean, like, he was in some serious pain and wincing. It was on that and one floater at the end of the quarter that it felt like he really did tweak that. And then in the fourth quarter, he fought through and went into the paint. 2 Knicks around him, finished over them in the paint, like, found a way to get it done, but clearly hobbled. That's what blue-collar boys do. And the free throw thing is something I want to kind of focus on, because Devin Booker has always been somebody that has been deemed ethical buckets, and I still think that he is ethical buckets, but as the #1 superstar in today's league, like, you need to know how to get to the free throw line. And his ability to do that and not be afraid to drive to the rim, put pressure on the rim, and make guys stop him. It's not just him drawing fouls, it's him making the defenders foul him. That is something that this season we've seen an uptick from him. And so to kind of substantiate not just the poor shooting percentages, but also, like, this team gives a lot of hustle plays, puts a lot of energy, a lot of time. He's putting in more effort on the defensive end. Those little breaks, getting to the free throw line more consistently, give you little mini breathers throughout the game. And so I'm really loving how he's been a little bit more cerebral in getting to the line, getting some free and easy buckets, but also conserving a little bit of energy too.
He's forcing the issue in a good way, not in a unethical way. He's causing, like you said, Eric, putting the pressure on these defenses, and it's paying dividends. And that's what this team needs. They need him to get to the line, because there's not a lot of other guys that are going to demand that kind of respect on the roster. And let's not lie, that's what it comes down to with NBA refs sometimes, is the difference between a call and a non-call is, who the hell are you? And so Devin Booker's been making it happen.
Yeah, I think that's the other part of his growth this season. His drives, there's a difference between a threatening drive and a probe. So watch him closely when he's dribbling the ball. Sometimes it's in isolation, sometimes it's in pick and roll. Comes off the screen. If there's help there, he's not just picking up his dribble. That was one of my gripes with him maybe 2 seasons ago. He would get into traffic and just pick up his dribble. Now, some of that was because he had Chris Paul who could go create an advantage for him out of anything. But I think him being able to keep his dribble alive in traffic, to where a defense can't just say, okay, we're just going to flail and then get back. It's like, no, he kept his dribble and he's in the mid-range, so we got to stay solid. Stay solid for a second. There's a clip where he hit Ryan Dunn one pass away as Yabusele helped off him in the corner. That trusting of his handle for one in traffic is a piece, and then the other part, the willingness to continue to pass the ball to guys. Ryan hasn't been shooting the ball the best of late. Finds him wide open in the corner, doesn't even hesitate. Kicks it over to him, knocks down that 3, looks at him and says, yeah, now do it again. I think there's just multiple moments like that where he's just dribbling in traffic, holding the defense, then makes a pass to flip that into an advantage. Those little things are really important. Don't always show up in assists, but they keep the blender going for the team offensively.
One thing you mentioned was conserving energy, and I was looking at the box score. I didn't realize this, but only one player tonight played more than Devin Booker. Devin Booker played 38 minutes in this game. So after missing a game on Thursday, clearly hobbled, ankle's probably a little tender, sore, gutted it out. again, we talk about this being a pretty high number on the must-win meter, about as high as you can get in a cross-conference game in the middle of January, and you had your best player available for all but 10 minutes of the game. Like 38 minutes, we're getting into like playoff numbers of workload. And the fact that, again, he was able to, I think, again, that just speaks to how important his presence is. The drives, the getting to the line, scoring in those moments where, regardless of, you throw the playbook out and you go get a bucket, having him out there is extremely important, and him being that force for as long as he's been that force is great to see.
Well, he's doing all the little things, still setting back screens to get guys open on cuts. He's still playing really good defense, switching. Like, he continues to be the most unselfish superstar in the NBA and gives it all for his team, including being hobbled playing almost 40 minutes on the road where he loves to play in MSG, averages over 30 points per game there for his career. You said it depends on who the hell are you, who gets free throws. I know who the hell the freckled Mamba is. That's him, because he just got a brand new emoji for our supporters club, and who else could it be than the blue-collariest of blue-collar boys, Jordan Goodwin, in a blue-collared shirt. All a new emoji for our supporters club. So become an MVP today, get all this exclusive content, get a prepaid super chat every month, and get access to exclusive emojis. We've talked about Devin Booker. We've talked about Grayson Allen, Jordan Goodwin. There was a lot of other good. Oh,
that's a celebratory moment. Am I wrong?
I agree with you.
MVP.
Freckle Mamba, everybody.
The MVP.
That's Mamba mentality right there.
Kara says Freckle Goat.
Freckled Goat.
Also,
Goaterton.
One and the same. Freckle Mama, Freckle Goat, one and the same.
Good Samaritan, Ayrton behind the Mac, giving the people
crazy.
what they want. And we'll continue to talk about the Suns picking up their first win on the road trip and tying the New York Knicks for their overall record this season on the other side of our final break. Doing your research is very important nowadays, and especially if you've been in an accident or suffered a serious injury, and that's why the lawyer you hire, well, it matters. And if you do the research, you'll find one place to go. That's Mark and Alexis Breyer, who head the husband and wife law team. Not only do they bring experience, I'm talking hundreds of years of combined trial experience with multiple certified specialists in personal injury and wrongful death, but they're focused on your best outcome, not how much money the firm makes. That's the husband and wife law team. They will make sure that you receive at least as much in your pocket as they receive for their fee, even if they reduce their attorney's fee to do so. And that's not just something they're having me say. That is a guarantee. That is a promise they make to you and all of their clients. They also promise that you can cancel your fee agreement at any time for any reason. You may speak with one of their lawyers about anything that you choose as often as you would like. So if you've had a serious injury, call the husband and wife law team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website, the link in our show notes, and tell them that PHNX sent you.
Got to tell you about my friends at Window Depot, because I'm going to read the right ad this time. Window Depot. I'm going to say this to you, because every time I bring up Window Depot to Gil, even he goes, you can't get stuff for the rest of your home. It's the Window Depot. And I keep saying, no, it's more than just a window store, Gil.
Silly Gil.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I'll have to take you out there when I go to get my bathroom redone. It is, and that's why we're going to take you to one of the 7 Valley locations, 7 Arizona locations of Window Depot. I'm going to redo a bathroom. I keep threatening to do this, and I promise you at some point I will, and I will tell you in an ad read how well it goes, because Window Depot actually has designers that for free will help you design your kitchen or your bathroom, whatever you're trying to redo. They got unbelievable cabinets. They got everything you need to redo the bathroom, and that's why I'm going to go to Window Depot. And actually tonight, I think when I get home, I'm going to do a little research, and I'm going to visit thewindowdepot.com to get started on that project tonight.
Look, you know me, I love my teams. I love my local teams so much I like to rep them all the time. That's why I'm always wearing branded bills, because whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitted beanies, or tees, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. Of course, they have partnerships with the Phoenix Suns. You can get them at their merch store in the downtown Phoenix arena. No free ads, but you can also get it for over 40 universities across the United States, including, of course, the university that's #1 in innovation. That's Arizona State. But I don't just rep my sports team. What about the team here? The PHNX team. We have our own branded Bills hats as well that you can get at our locker. And the best part about branded Bills is I love the material that it's made out of. They've got a couple different types of material, all high quality, all breathable, and they do not just fall apart after a couple of wears. They don't fade. The logos are made well. There's not strings coming out of it. And no, Branded Bills has you covered. Plus, you can get your own custom Branded Bills hats for your own team, whether that's a small business, whether it's a fantasy football league, whatever it is. Head to brandedbills.com. Use code BBPHNX for 15% off your first order. That's brandedbills.com. Code BBPHNX for 15% off your first order.
Did my wife just threaten to throw me out of my home? Is that what I just saw?
That's how I read that.
I mean,
I was
that's how
gonna
I
say
read
To
it.
the bathroom in your new house.
I was gonna leave that alone, man. Yeah.
I'm
None
not
of my
sure.
business. It's none of my business.
She's in Chicago right now. I might have to pack up and be out by the time she gets home.
Well, thank you all for not.
Feel free to
packing
let
up
us
and
know in the
leaving here.
chat.
She already did. What you mean?
We're waiting for you to know.
did.
We're not coming back from Chicago.
That's tough.
Big shout out to B Column C Clearly back in the chat. We'll read your super chats and all the super chats here in a second. Of course, you can become a member by hitting that join button where the subscribe button usually is, but I know you already hit that subscribe button. And you should become a diehard today because we're upping our diehard content here in 2026. Plus, you also get a diehard membership card, a free t-shirt of your choice from the locker for every year that you are a diehard, and you get entrance to our diehard Discord lounge, discount to all events, including the PHNX Hockey Takeover that's coming up at the beginning of next month. And you got access to the video version of an exclusive Suns Knicks pregame of a video that I did up on our YouTube channel. That's all for our diehards. But tonight, let's keep talking about the Suns Knicks. Where do you guys want to go? I'm handing the keys over to you three. We've talked about Booker, Allen, Goodwin. Do we want to go good? Royce O'Neal, Mark Williams, Ryan Dunn, and Oso Gennaro? Do we want to go bad?
I'll take a quick moment to give a shout out to Ryan Dunn. You mentioned it for a second. And when he came in, I don't know if he's got a bug in his ear from what we're saying in the studio or whatever, but we said, all right, Ryan, show us something a little bit. And pretty quickly, he knocked down a three. And he was active. And then there was a play where he had a very athletic rebound, which made me say, whoa, that was really athletic. And then he turned the ball over, but then he poked the ball free and got the ball back. And something that I've stressed, and I know Steven has done the same thing, and Eric and Espo, you've done the same thing as well. When there is this discourse and frustration with the younger players in the rotation, and people say that they can't play and they would trade them for whatever. And I say, listen, hang on to the moments. Hang on to seeing the moments of them making an active play, making a cut, and having a pretty impressive dunk. These small things, remember, this is why the team selected them. And they're not going to do them consistently right away because they're still learning how to play the NBA game. But the team probably doesn't win without him making those contributions tonight. And they were very important that he made those contributions. Highest plus minus on the team. I stole your thunder, Mr. Plus Minus.
It's okay.
Sorry. But
The good word spreads.
plus 23 in the box score in the game, and just a very impactful performance from Mr. Ryan Dunn off the bench. And he got a shout out from his teammates on the broadcast as well.
Did. I think that confidence piece for him is so important because congratulations on today's game. There's plenty of more tests and challenges to come going forward.
Do it again.
Do it again. That's cool. Rinse and repeat. Do it again and again. Stack not just good plays like you did today. Stack good games. That's going to earn you goodwill within the rotation for one, but it's also going to put you in a position to take on those challenges that are going to come going forward head on. There's not going to be any of that timidity that typically comes at times with this game. If he's continuing like he saw today, knock down the corner three within your first few minutes of being in the game, but you're not just chilling, waiting for your next opportunity to shoot a corner three. As soon as that opportunity for a backdoor cut presents itself, he's Johnny on the spot, doesn't miss a beat with it, gets to where he needs to be, and reaps the benefits from it. Another pass coming from, I think that one might have been from Oso Gennaro at that time.
The bounce pass in this game?
Yeah.
That was Colin. That hit
On
Ryan
the
on the
back
back
door?
door?
On the
Yeah,
back
that
door?
was Colin.
Okay. Well, the point being with it, look who was guarding them on that play, though. Karl Anthony Towns. Eric, remember last season, I talked about Ryan needing to stay confident with shooting the threes or the 0.5 decisions to go put it on the deck because teams keep trying to stash their lesser defenders on them. Sometimes that's even a center. For the Suns, that's going to task him with needing to be confident with the decisions that he's making. There's not going to be any time to hesitate. when you get the ball, it can't be as Zach Lowe says, a record scratch moment where you catch it and now all of the flow it just completely stops. No wrong decision can come from making a quick decision, whether it's to get it back to the person that passed you, catch and pull it, or rip it and go. Always stay in that space. I think he's been, regardless of result, been a quick decision guy all season long. And I think that speaks to buy-in from the team, but also habits being reinforced from what he was doing last season at his foundation.
Yeah, I think he needs to have that DJ Khaled mentality. Another one. I was
a couple of different ways. Either one, I'm not mad because it's in all caps.
Right?
Absolutely.
Just keep stacking. And I to your point, I love his aggressiveness when he cuts to the hoop, when he slashes, when he makes those moves.
Yeah.
That's when I'm most confident in a Ryan Dunn game because, he'll hit a three every once in a while, but if he's active to the hoop, he's getting those dunks. He's making those. He had that one rebound where he came out of nowhere athletically. That's the best Ryan Dunn that this team can have right now. So go out there and do that every night. Give me that, and don't worry about, okay, you miss a couple three-pointers, still be aggressive, still cut to the hoop. That's the Ryan Dunn that can help this team win this year.
100%.
We saw it with Oso. I mean, that's the thing with these two guys, and we talked about it all last year, that they were both put in really bad positions, Oso and Ryan as rookies. Once your playing time coming, there's not really any sort of like system around you. And we saw flashes because those were guys that tried hard and brought athleticism to a team that really needed that. So maybe the highs were higher for these guys, but there wasn't room for them really to grow in a system for them and a belief in them. Ryan Dunn was starting at the beginning of the season, right? Like Ryan Dunn is somebody that's moved to the bench. His role has changed. He's had to adjust. With Oso, we saw him have to adjust throughout the season, and it was only the last couple of weeks that we really saw this confidence start to burst. And what you were saying, Steven, stack these good games, stack these good plays, stack these days where you are bringing an impact that's unique to this team that nobody else can do. Ryan Dunn falls into that same category. He's still not afraid to shoot the ball. That's always great. The 2 or 3 from deep, out of all the great things tonight, that's probably the most important, but still doing all of the little things and making your impact known in ways that you can. Only 17 minutes for him tonight. That's less than Jordan Goodwin. That's less than Grayson Allen. That's less than Oso. Yet he was still able to find his mark, and you don't win this game without Ryan Dunn. He's the type of dude whose progression means so much to you long-term, but short-term in the next couple of months as you lead up to hopefully a playoff series, if he can continue to have games like tonight that aren't that loud on the box score, but if you watch the game, you realize it came in impactful moments, that is a great chess piece for the Suns to have.
Anybody that's selling their stock on Ryan Dunn, and I've seen a lot of opinions and comments shared, I'm buying all of it because I don't think this team can reach their ceiling this season if he doesn't get too close to what his true potential is. And that's not just three-point shots going down. It's so much more to his game than that. The timely cuts matter for a team that cuts as much as anybody, maybe not in threatening cuts to the basket, but I'm going to move because there's nothing coming from me in this spot, and that's going to create opportunity for someone else to punish the help defense that our best players see. Those little things really matter, and then obviously even more so his defensive activity. When he has his confidence rolling on offense, it grows on that end as well.
I have a tough time because I wouldn't sell my Ryan Dunn stock, but I think the expectation of some people, and we've talked about this a little bit, it kind of expanded a little too much. You need young guys to be quality role players on a team. You need guys to grow into that too. Not everybody's going to be the superstar, right? Yep. But you need those guys that are key parts of what you do and your culture and your system. And usually if you can home grow those, it's better than just trying to go grab one off the street or from somebody else's system. I think that's what Ryan Dunn is likely going to be, a guy that has a impact for this team for a longer run. Maybe is never a star, but when you draft him where you did at 28th, like you're not gonna get necessarily a star. You're gonna get a guy that can have an impact on your team, and I think that's what he's becoming, and that's exactly what you should want him to become.
There's so many things that each of you said that kind of make up what you want him to be. I think about the cutting, right? Like just being an aggressive cutter, thinking about Jalen Green coming back, and now opposing defenses are so worried about the different ways in which your primary scorers can hurt you, they might get caught sleeping. And you can punish them by cutting back door, getting a dunk that changed the momentum of the game. You said doing little things, impactful things. Yeah, we talk a lot about the 3-pointers that he makes, but how about the next possession after he makes a 3, he makes an extra pass, Jordan Goodwin hits a 3. That's a big play as well. And the fact that you have a homegrown guy, you can mold him to be exactly what you want him to be and fit the vision of the team that you're trying to build, not just in 25, 26, but over the next several years, over the life of his rookie deal, and hopefully beyond, because he's under team control for as long as you basically want him to be with the way things work. But so I think that that's another part of it. I mentioned it time and time again. It is definitely difficult for a late first-round pick to have 2 entirely different roles, 2 entirely different systems, 2 entirely different coaching staffs in the first 2 years of his NBA career. And not to mention all the other extraneous variables and things that were going outside of his control, and a lot for a young player to deal with last year. He's in a much more stable situation this year, and he's probably unlearning some of the things that he was taught that they don't want him to do anymore, so he can be better fit for what they're trying to do. So maybe he doesn't have it at game 42. Not to mention he's missed some time this year, but I do think we'll see him kind of round into form and see more of this consistently as we get into the end of this month. February, past All-Star, getting into March and the stretch run of the season is when you really want to see Ryan Dunn become that guy who you can trust for 15, 16 minutes in a playoff game, just like you did tonight.
Yeah, these guys are all puzzle pieces.
Right.
You gotta understand that will change over time. And like, being a role player is not a bad thing, right? It's knowing your role and going out there and doing it and being willing to sacrifice parts of your game to give your team exactly what they need when they need it. And that is a very important thing about basketball. We think it's a star-driven league, but in reality, you don't go anywhere without those guys that are willing to know their role, play their role, and sacrifice.
The best teams in the league.
Oklahoma City, man.
Yes,
that's why I'm annoyed with the Bulls for giving them Alex Caruso, one of the most high-end role players in the league that doesn't care about taking a single shot in the game, let alone even touching the basketball, but will still screen for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, will still backdoor cut and do all of the dive into the 6th row for a loose ball that he has no chance of getting because that's what the team needs, and not allowing for his defense to slip. That's kind of the role that Ryan Dunn is playing for the Suns. No, he's not Alex Caruso, but they have very similar impacts to their team. Point of attack defenders, set screens, teams help off of you, so you're going to have to take some shots that you might not always be the most comfortable taking, but it's the best shot you're going to get. So you have to take it and live with the result while not letting that impact your defense. I feel like that's the perfect type of guy that Ryan should be looking to mold himself after.
Well, and look, the team loves him. He's clearly a very hard worker. That's been the big story with him and Oso. They're in the gym every single day. Obviously, they come in together. And Espo, you make a good point. He's a 28th pick in the draft. If you pick at the end of the first round and that guy has a long career as a role player, that is a great draft pick. Oso was the 40th pick in the draft. And look, I was one of the guys in the summer who was expecting a lot more from Ryan Dunn this season than what we got. And I think that's okay for people like me and who agreed with me or expected the same thing to say, hey, you know what? Maybe that leap hasn't been there, but to completely give up, throw your stock out and not realize that growth is not always linear, like that's giving up on a guy who hasn't deserved to be given up on yet. And that doesn't mean he still can't get there. And I think Laura said it in the chat too, the community loves him. He's great in the community. He's got billboards. Him and Oso have commercials. Like, again, the 28th and the 40th pick in a draft that are also only playing in one full season. That was one of the most depressing Sun seasons that we've ever seen. To be able to survive that, come out on the other end, and we've seen Oso be the best center on this team for a multiple game stretch. And we've seen Ryan take over some games, put back dunks and threes in consecutive possessions, play good point of attack defense. I still believe in those two guys as long-term pieces here. I don't believe that they're going to be star players 82 games out of 82 games. There's a middle ground with saying that maybe he hasn't taken the leap that you've wanted offensively, but that he has still been impactful in a lot of the minutes that he's played.
Yeah. The reason those two guys got commercials, though, was they were the 2 of 3 guys that people knew would be back this season.
And that's fair, but I also don't think that you give a commercial to somebody who people aren't going to look at. Like, there are Ryan Dunn billboards around here. There are also Goodaro billboards. Like, that means something for those two guys. And I think that the belief that this organization has had in them and in all these players that we talk about having good seasons, it means a lot. I think it's a lot of Ryan Dunn love, and I think it was very much deserving tonight. What about Mark Williams? How did you guys feel about Mark's game? 15 points, 9 rebounds, 5 of 8 from the field. Had 2 blocks for him tonight, which were just crazy blocks.
One that we thought
well.
almost killed him.
Yeah, one that almost killed him.
Yeah.
I feel like Mark has been one of those interesting players that we've been following along the last couple of weeks that have had some pretty discernible lows and some pretty discernible highs. A tough matchup, Cat, Mitchell Robinson out there tonight. Steven, what were your takeaways from his game?
I thought he played well tonight. Again, I continue to harp on them needing to find with intention those pockets to keep him involved on offense because he doesn't have ways in which he can do so on his own will outside of the occasional offensive rebound that presents itself. But I thought generally he was good. And even to the offensive rebound point, there was a timely moment where he went after the ball and pursued it. He just reacted quicker than everybody else. It wasn't an offensive rebound that fell in his lap. He had to do some work to get there, but he beat 2 Knicks. And I think he kicked it to Royce, and Royce knocked down the 3 right after that. But just finding those little moments of impact. Defensively, he was solid today. There was a lot going on. He was cross-matched at times. He was kind of switching. They had matchups where it wasn't the most ideal for him at times as well. He was just solid. Not falling for pump fakes, not fouling too much, but also finding that opportunity for impact. Guys trying to go up around the basket. Mikal Bridges, hello and goodbye to your shot as it goes off the backboard and the Suns score on the other end. Those things matter, and I think him just streamlining just some consistency. You talked about the highs and lows, Eric. It's been a very tough road trip for him. First night, Bam Adebayo, Kelly Ware, everything that Miami does in terms of their dribble drive. So there's a ton of drives and pressure on the rim and paint. That's a lot to deal with. Second night, guess what? It doesn't get any easier because you have to deal with Jalen Dunn and Isaiah Stewart. And then the third night of the road trip, you have to deal with Karl-Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson. That's a lot. And I think he's handled it well, even with some of the lows being mixed into that. That's what you want. And obviously, more than anything, again, not taking it for granted, he continues to be healthy.
And someone can let him know they play the Nets on Monday, so he gets a little bit of a reprieve.
I mean, that's just gonna be such a. It's gonna be. He might not go up against the big that whole game because of how junky it's gonna be, man.
But yeah, we've talked about it. The aggressive nature of Mark has been a little off the last week and a half or so. Tonight he was extremely aggressive on both ends of the floor, took the ball strong to the rim, defended the rim well on the other end. That's what I need from Mark Williams. I don't need him to be a world beater. I don't need 25 points. I need you to go out there, be hard-nosed, run the floor, be aggressive on the offensive end, and take it to the hoop strong when you get the opportunity. He did all that tonight. I thought it was a great game.
He checked those boxes that we talked about, 5 offensive boards. He ran the floor. He got good angles in the ball screen action when he was the rolling guy. And what didn't result in him scoring each and every time he did it. But, again, it's something that the opposing defense has to take into account, and it keeps them honest as far as him just being aggressive in that. And Eric, I really hate to rain on your parade. The stats only credited him with 1 block.
Whoa,
tonight.
That's crazy.
So, but it was a really massive block, and it all made us kind of get out of our seats. So.
He had 2 blocks. We saw it with our own eyes.
We saw it, but the stats people at Madison Square Garden.
I was gonna say that's MSG right there.
We saw it with our own 2 eyes.
So sorry,
he got
Eric.
2 blocks. We won't talk about that. I want to talk about some of the other starters here as well. Colin Gillespie, 8 straight points in the fourth quarter. Some really clutch buckets from him. Royce O'Neal also hit a clutch bucket. And in fact, all those guys connected for our Love the Play presented by Arizona Lottery. If you're over the age of 21, play and gift. Today, it was Grayson Allen on a fast break, tapping it off the backboard, throwing it off the backboard to Mark Williams, who finished on the fast break. Crazy. What a crazy play. But overall, the fourth quarter, just a really big quarter for all of the non-Booker, I guess Grayson Allen had a good fourth quarter too. But Colin Gillespie, 11 points, 8 in the fourth quarter. Royce O'Neal, big 3 at the end of the game as well. Also added 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. These guys just continue to play well. Colin, after the game, also called Devin Booker a dog for playing through his ankle sprain. Said, "Hooper, man, we appreciate it. We need him out there."
Sets the tone. The rest of these guys follow that. They go out there and they will do anything for this team because Devin Booker is their leader, is willing to go out there and put it on the line as well. And that's the mentality that this has been predicated on. And to everybody's point that throughout this year, Devin embraces it. Devin goes out there and does it, and they respect him for doing that night in, night out.
Just like the stuff with defense and him being willing to do whatever, the I'll do it mentality, to play as long as he did, to be a high usage player, to play when, again, maybe he's 80%, maybe he's 85%. We don't know. He's clearly affected. Nobody else has any excuse, because whatever you're playing through, whatever you're dealing with, you're not going to be relied upon for nearly as much as him. And that just works throughout the roster. Everybody sees that. Talking about Colin, that was that ISO 3 that he made. And all it was like, oh, that was nasty. Like, it was in a moment in which, like you mentioned, going to the fourth with 3 points and made some massive shots, because I wasn't nervous about the Suns in the fourth quarter, but it was anyone's game. And the plays that those guys made swayed it in Phoenix's favor. And the love the play was awesome. Like, that was one of those things where, again, not to the level of Grayson's tap, which was 8 days ago, but another embodiment of who this team is. It was like a little unorthodox, but it was a heads-up play from Grayson again to tap it off the glass. Mark ready, the good hands we always talked about, finished, and that effectively put the game away.
The what?
The love to play?
The good hands.
The good. Oh.
Logan was trying to say that Grayson didn't do that on purpose. He most certainly did.
Yeah, he did.
Go back and watch
the aerial highlight. You could see it.
Yeah, the secondary angle. You can see he looks at Mark. He looks where he is, and he hits it off the side so Mark can get it. It was 100% done on purpose.
Some quotes from Devin Booker after the game here. Of course, all of these via Dwayne Rankin, who travels with the team, does a great job. Devin Booker, on any doubt that he would play tonight with his ankle sprain, quote, "Not really. Nah, I knew the adrenaline would kick in." Also talked about winning against the Knicks at the Garden. Quote, "I always say when I see young players that come in here that really don't care about it, you're not a true hooper. To have all the Knicks alumni here on top of that, a bunch of living legends in the building, you have to feel it, man. That's what it's all about. A lot of those guys laid the groundwork for us to get the league where it's at now. You got to show love." Any response to that, Espo?
Yeah, the building's still a dump. There's a lot of history there. I respect all of those players that were there, aside from Amari Stoudemire, who was wearing a Knicks jacket.
God, that was
disgusting. But you know, I respect the players that have made the Knicks franchise what it is, and the lure. The building's still a dump.
Basically, it's all the Suns players that have played in that building. Like, it's crazy. We talked about the connection between those two franchises.
Long list of Suns and Knicks that have played on both teams. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I know you set me up to crap on your thoughts.
Just wanted your thoughts about the Garden.
Did you know they're gonna have to tear it down because their lease above the train station is supposedly?
I'm sure they'll find a way.
And no, seriously, they're gonna have to look at new areas to build it.
Come on, Memdani, figure it out.
Just tear the damn thing down, start new. Could you imagine how many rats will just scurry into New York City as they tear that thing down?
Man, Book had one more quote post game, asked about Jalen Green. It's a short quote. "We need Jalen." So
profound.
I was like, please get it back. I can't do all this by myself.
So obviously no Jalen Green tonight for those who missed pregame or aren't following us at PHNX_Suns on Twitter, which you should be. Jalen Green, no upgrades, was just listed as out for this game. Continues to recover from his right hamstring strain. Jordan, not pregame, said he got 5-on-5 work in this morning after shoot around. That would be his third time getting 5-on-5 in there. Continues to progress and move in the right direction. Do we think there's any chance that Jalen Green's second debut with the Suns is on Monday against the Brooklyn Nets?
I think there's probably around a 50% chance.
50?
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Plays
wow.
on Monday.
That's really high.
I have no inside insight, but
that's not inside information either. Please don't take it.
To me, I keep looking at that first game they're back and thinking that, and I have for a while. I could be wrong. They might want to get him one or two before he comes back and plays in front of the home crowd. But yeah, I think there's a slight chance Monday, and we'll see. Maybe that last game of the trip, because they will have had 2 days off going into that, and everybody will be rested up. But
in the A,
I think so much about like it being matchup based potentially, and not even saying like, I mean, again, the Nets have been playing pretty good basketball, but the demands that each opponent would bring. So do you want to bring them back against the Nets? Do you want to potentially bring them back against the 76ers, which I low-key think, based on what we saw with Grayson, he ended up playing on second and then back-to-back his first game playing in a long time. Maybe the Suns kind of do that to kind of make him be a reinforcement, but it would be weird after traveling. Do you want to do it against the Hawks? Or when you come back, it's against the Heat, which is a physical team, and maybe you'd like for him to have a couple reps under his belt when he comes back to play Miami. So a lot of things that will probably go into their decision-making. Again, none of us know, but things that just kind of cross my mind when I think about what could influence ultimately the choice that goes into who he comes back against.
Sandman breaking news in the chat says Jalen Green will return in Avengers Doomsday. The longer this goes on, and I'm not really worried about it. He'll take his time. It is what it is. I don't think the Suns are holding him out because they're going to trade him for Giannis, like some people are saying. The more I think that it's going to be longer than we think, I would put it in my gut as like a 10% chance he plays against Brooklyn. I hope I'm wrong. I'd really hope it's that 10%. I'd like to see him play. Honestly, going back home is starting to feel more and more, like you said, Espo, kind of like an option here. I think he's going to be listed as questionable or doubtful on the injury report before he plays a game and then eventually get ruled as out. I believe that happened. It was the Memphis game before the Clippers game. I think that he came back, that he was upgraded, but then still out, and then he was back for the next game. I think that happens again. I hope I'm wrong, but I think it's going to be a little bit longer for us to see Jalen Green back in a Suns uniform.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if they're doing this because he's playing 5-on-5 now on this trip, and they're seeing how it responds to travel, because that will be part of what he's going to have to do when he comes back, obviously. So maybe they're trying to get as many data points as they can to understand really where he is, and that's what I hope.
Well, remember what Jordan I said was the thing in the way for him was that he hadn't played 5-on-5 prior to them leaving for this 6-game road trip. And now he mentioned today that it's his 3 consecutive days of 5-5, or 5-on-5 rather. The travel involved definitely matters. But if it matters to that extent, then let him take the subway. Let him take the subway between today and Monday's game.
The bus jostles a little too much.
Listen, man, make it happen, man.
I mean, I actually think they could take a bus from New York to Philly too. I don't think
most definitely.
I mean, there's not necessarily a plane ride there too, so maybe.
Hector in the chat says, at this point, we've waited so long. What's a couple of more games? And the Suns keep on winning like they won tonight, snapping a 2-game skid to start their road trip. Like we said, Monday, they take on the Nets. Let's get into some super chats here before we get to our final thoughts. Don Davius, it's good to see you, Don Davius. It's been a while. With a $1.99 super chat says, underrated Mark game tonight, clutch down the stretch.
Agreed.
I also liked from Mark attacking the paint off of the dribble from the top of the key and drawing free throws. I thought that was a nice move from him as well. B column C clearly. Welcome back. We'll get your favorite to read this one.
From B column C clearly. We appreciate you. Welcome back. Snatch, stop playing with us. Welcome to the dark side. Hawks up, Suns up. We put some respect on our name. Don't play with us. Hawks. 100, heart. And the next one.
Oh, yeah, we can go to this next one down here.
Another one from B Calm. Ayrton, what is the Bay? This is the dark side. We sucked the soul out of the fraud. Kyle, the Bears, LA, the ref, Rams, either one, you're next. I don't know if that's what Goldberg sounds like. Goldberg voice.
Smile or straight face emoji? Smile?
Yeah, smile. Is that how Goldberg sounds? I'm sorry.
You ever imagine?
You're next.
You're next.
You ever imagine you'd read the words, we suck the soul out of the fraud?
No, I didn't. I kept it going. I kept it going.
See, he's like Ron Burgundy. We put it in a super chat. He'll just read it. So
maybe we should all get fake B column C clearly chats. It could be like Espo sends one and be like, Espo, you're the best. And then Gil has to say it.
I'm Gil McGregor.
I'm Gil McGregor.
Fire Lord Wilson, fire name as always, $5 super chat says, Book showing why he is the guy for this team. Need a bucket. Book will get it. Love this team. Book looks like he's having fun again.
Winning is fun.
Winning is
very fun.
Ultimate cure for any and everything.
So much better.
As Marcus Dixon says with the $1.99 super chat, says, glad the Suns got a W.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember which one of our viewers was at the game.
I think it was maybe
Someone mentioned it in pregame that they were at
And Stacker, I believe.
Yeah, okay, that sounds.
Shout out N Stacker.
Shout out N Stacker.
Hope you're all right after going to that building.
Jeez. You know who I hope is all right? Jim Bridger, 1997, with a 199 super chat, says 22 assists tonight, about to slam 22 hot dogs right now. Buns or no buns?
Hey, after watching Heated Rivalry, I might go back to buns.
Bro.
Binge watch it. What do you want? Jim Bridger did say, I'll do no buns in honor of Espo tonight. And Matt to the Power Joe. Good luck, Jim. Consume hot dogs responsibly. Can we go home yet?
After that, if we need to.
Let's give your final thoughts on the Suns' 106-99 win. Espo, I'm afraid to go to you first, but we're going to have to do that. What were your final thoughts on tonight's game?
Thank God they won.
Yeah, amen.
Thank God. Get out of New York City. Go to Brooklyn. Make sure Devin gets in and out of that bathtub all right at the club tonight in New York City without hurting the ankle. Have a good time and get a win on Monday.
Tracy's wondering what's happening while she's gone in Chicago.
I don't know. I'll have to tell you about it in my new home. So.
Oh, man. Laura says, Espo, you're on your own after that. Steven, I'm assuming your final thoughts will differ a little bit from Espo's second to last thoughts on the game.
I just think that we might be seeing Jalen Green soon. Again, this is not sourced or informed opinion here. This is just straight up opinion, actually. Feels like he's turning corners, and we might be seeing him do exactly that on the basketball court soon. But the defense, man, fourth game in the turn of the new year where they've held an opponent to 100 points or less. Mm-hmm. Teams are averaging 117 or more points. I think the league average is like 115 or 114 this season right now. You've held 4 of your opponents in the new year to 100 or less. And tonight, New York shot 40% from the field. And also had, I think, 17 turnovers tonight. That's a really good defensive team. Like, I'm working on doing something a little more longer format to document their defense because it just deserves it. But this team being that stubborn on that end and allowing for that side to be what corrects course for them instead of forcing it on the other end, again, speaks to the identity and them understanding who they are at their core, but it also speaks to the ways they can not just be solid on defense, but weaponize their defense. And tonight was another example of that.
Yeah, great win, and I got to give a shout to your pregame keys, postgame. The final tally from threes: 15 for the Suns, 14 for the Knicks. Mm-hmm. Suns win. We specifically, Steven, but all of us when we go pregame, we try to give you the outline for what to expect during the test, and then depending on how the game goes, we can look back and see where things went right and where they went wrong. But they went right for the Suns tonight, and so it's good momentum going into a different borough, but in the same city.
86 combined threes again. This is the second time these two teams put up 80-plus three-point attempts when they're playing each other.
Modern-day hoops, baby.
Yeah. Just an awesome team. I know we say it over and over again. I just don't want that to get lost, how much fun we're having, but it's not just fun. We came into the season, we said the standard is what we want from this team is to have fun, but we thought the fun was going to come in a lot less wins. We all thought they'd be better than most people did, but I don't think anybody expected them to be this good, especially given their injury status.
This is win number 26.
25.
Six
and
away.
The over-under that we saw on the season was 31. Yes. So anybody that, like, if you were wise and listened to us, that took that and put a nice little chunk of change on that, you'll be seeing return on investment potentially as soon as All-Star break.
Yeah.
Take some of that investment and buy a super chat and become a member.
Facts. That's real. That is real.
That is a company, man.
They tie the New York Knicks at 25-17, and technically they'd have the season series against them, so they would be the outright third seed in the Eastern Conference, of course.
And have home court in the finals.
Yes.
They face
true.
Is that true? I thought it's just the higher seed.
Better
would have home court. Is better head-to-head record? Okay.
No, better like overall record.
Yeah, overall record. So the Suns right now are half a game out of the 6th seed. Currently, at the point of this, and anything can happen, The Portland Trailblazers are up 96-77 in the third quarter on the Los Angeles Lakers. The Portland Trailblazers have almost scored 100 points, and there are 5 minutes left in the third quarter. They are frauds.
They're
The
not like
Suns
It's
that.
also wait. Yes, they have issues, but the Portland Trailblazers, please wake up. This team started the season loud. One of the few teams that was able to beat Oklahoma City. They play a lot of defense.
Mm-hmm.
They lost about 4 of the most valuable outside of Tumani Kamara defensive capital guys for quite some time. Matisse Thybulle, I don't think is back yet. Blake Wesley is another piece. Might not be as known, but his impact is loud. And then obviously the most important of those 3 names, Drew Holiday, just recently returned, I think maybe 2 games ago now. They're starting to get back to themselves, and we're seeing them do a lot of things. I don't even think Denny Avdija is playing tonight. And they're up against the Los Angeles Lakers. Like, that team is serious, not maybe threatening to take the Suns spot, but they're a team that could creep up and find themselves.
I wouldn't want to see them in the play-in tournament.
No, and that's what I was getting at. That team, and the Suns have to see them, I think, maybe 2 or 3 more times down the stretch, too. So that's a team that really gets after it, and I want to make sure people are keeping a close eye on that team.
So,
to be fair, I didn't mean that as a knock on
No. I just wanted to take time to talk down on the Lakers to also uplift the Portland Trailblazers.
The Lakers are complete and utter frauds, and Portland is a.
They're front runners. They're not coming back in this game.
And to your point, though, they fold against teams who are actually good, like the Trailblazers. Like when they played the Suns, they have folded against teams that are actually good. They've beaten up on bad teams, but they fold against good teams.
So Portland with a win tonight would be 4.5 games behind the Suns for what would be the 6th seed. The Lakers would drop to the play, and the Suns would be half a game back from Houston. Golden State did pick up a victory tonight. They are only a game and a half behind the Suns. They've been winning a lot recently, as the Suns have lost a little bit more in the last 3 games. They are certainly a team to watch. And the Warriors have the tiebreaker, and the Los Angeles Clippers have sneaked back into the play-in. They are playing like the best team in the NBA since Christmas.
Chuck the Condor got his life together.
But on the other end of things, Minnesota lost tonight. The Suns are only a game and a half back from them. So a game and a half back from home court advantage in the playoffs, a half a game back from the 5th seed, and another game on Monday against the Brooklyn Nets. We're going to take you through all of it, pregame and postgame show right here on PHNX Suns. In the meantime, you can follow the show at PHNX_Suns. That's on Twitter and on Instagram as well. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I know there's a lot of you that watch every show but aren't subscribed. Please subscribe. It really helps us out so much. We're close to 50,000 subscribers. We're trying to get that by Super Bowl, and it would just be an awesome milestone for this channel to reach. If you're already subscribed, hit that join button, become a member, get access to the new Jordan Goodwin blue collar boy emoji, plus extra film breakdowns from Steven and a prepaid super chat for every month that you are a member. You can become a diehard today, get exclusive content as well, plus discount to all of our events, merch, and so on and so forth. You can follow the Freckled Mamba behind the Mac and making all the magic happen at Freckled Mamba. These watch-along days are very long and very strenuous, and he still found time to add a brand new emoji today, so give it up for him. Hit the like button for the Freckled Mamba. And, of course, you can follow Steven at StevenPG3. You can follow Espo at Espo. You can follow Gil at GilMcGregor_. You can follow me at ERIKRUBY. If we forgot the Apple for today's show, is it fitting to do it on Mondays, or is the moment gone?
No, you got to get something that represents the hipster-nish of Brooklyn.
Drinking a matcha live on PHNX Suns on Monday.
Go visit the Lakers in the Cheeks Clinic. Ahoy, hoy.
We all silly like the mayor.